excited to have all of you here. This is a moment that's been building for so long for us, and to have so many friends, family supporters that are here. It's like moving. I can feel it in my soul right now. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to talk about. I started Rivian, and really, at the core of it, every decision we make, the products, the strategy, what we're building, how we go about building our business, the way we structure our teams, the way we think about our culture, has been built around this idea of keeping the world adventurous forever. And so much of that ties into this world of forever, into this word of forever. And forever is an intimidating word. It's a word that means so many things, it's hard to even capture what that represents. And when we look at that word, when we think about what we're building, what we're creating, it extends beyond us. It extends beyond what we're doing today, what we're doing this month. And we often say, we're building a world thinking about our kids. And it's our kids, that mindset that informs how we make product decisions, and it informs, really importantly, how we make the products what they are. So today, when we think about that, we look at what we're going to be showing you, just recognize the thoughtfulness that thousands and thousands of decisions have gone into those products. And to start that, we developed our R1 product line really as our handshake with the world. These are products that redefined what a truck was, what an SUV was, and enabled a level of performance, capability, everyday usability that really never before been seen. And that was built on this deep desire, this really deep desire to make products that not only enable the types of adventures we want to take photographs of, the kinds of things we want to remember 20 years from now, 100 years from now, but also inspire those things. Inspire you to say yes to things that scare you, to explore, to do new things. And that desire to explore feeds into all the things that we drive as a business. And hopefully you see that in our future products and what's to come. Now, beyond just the desire to explore, we also need to make sure that these products are safe. And a huge part of what we're building has been built around safety. The R1 products, every decision that had to do with structure or the way the vehicle was packaged was laddering into the goal of making these not only a safe vehicle, but the safest truck and the safest SUV in the world. So the R1T and the R1S achieved that. Top Safety Pick Plus, the highest safety rating on the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, 5-star standard, and they're incredible. Now, linked to all this is a technology platform we created. We built software, we built electronics, we designed entirely in-house network architecture that allows our vehicles to get better and better over time. I see a lot of our owners out here, and I know one of the things that's most followed is what's the next set of features to drop? And we get to make improvements to the software, we can add new features. I get tons of feedback, and my dad will send me, whether he likes it or not, sometimes very strongly worded. But we love the feedback, we love the opportunity to be really integral and connected to our community as we're making all these decisions. We think about our community, we think about our owners, it's such a powerful part of what we're building. When I started, I can remember back, it was at all these things we wrote, we thought about what do we want to become as a company? And one of the things that inspired us so deeply was to say, can we create something that inspires people? Inspires us to behave differently. This inspires us to show up as our best self. And that was embodied in this goal of creating a movement or a community of users, a community of customers that just loved the product and had an orientation and optimism around the future that was so core to who we are. And there's so many ways to look at this. There's so many stories. I get lots of emails. I love sharing with the team. Emails from customers who are doing really amazing things. So here's one that just embodies it beautifully. This is Milo. Imagine you're driving down the highway. You see a semi-truck in a ditch. And you not only think to yourself, I'm going to pull over and see if they're all right, I'm going to try to pull them out of the ditch. And so much in this embodies everything. It's that orientation to help, but it's also the fact that the vehicle can pull a semi out of a ditch. house across the street. Just how far you want to tow it. But beyond the products and beyond what we're creating, and the technology, and software, propulsion, towing capability, is really the other element of how our brand manifests, which is our spaces. And we're sitting in one today. This is normally a movie theater. It doesn't look like one right now, but normally there'd be seats right here. And this is an example of the types of spaces we want to create as a company. Spaces that are active elements of the community, pull people in, drive discussion, enable the types of dialogue around what's coming in terms of electrification, what we have to drive in terms of change. And this is one of many spaces. We're building more of these, and we have them across the US. And each one of these is special. Each one has some unique link to the community that it's in. And these are a chance for us to physically manifest our brand in a very unique way. But beyond the spaces like this, we also have a whole network of service infrastructure we've created. And when we think about service, your mind immediately goes to the idea of going to a physical service location. But actually, more than half of our service is done with our mobile service fleet. We have over 500 mobile service trucks, our R1T, and mobile service vans that actually show up your house, show up your work, and we can fix your vehicle there. But in addition to that, for things that we can't fix in your driveway or fix in the parking lot of your office, we do have a physical service infrastructure with 54 service locations today. These are rapidly ramping up. And these are beautiful spaces, enthusiastic team members, and we've just started doing test drives out of these to get more people exposure, not just to Rivian, but importantly to electrification. What it feels like to drive an electric vehicle, something that really completely changes the way you think about the way a car operates. So we're going to be talking about electric vehicles in this massive transition. We have to move 1.5 billion vehicles in our global fleet over the next, hopefully, few years, maybe a couple of decades, to electric without thinking about charging infrastructure. And one of the elements of charging that we often don't fully appreciate is most of it happens at home. More than 90% of your charging is happening actually in your garage. But you do need to go point to point. You need to go from Washington, D.C. to New York, from San Francisco to L.A. Or if you don't have a garage, you need a way to charge your vehicles. So we're also building a high-speed charging network. We call it a Rivian Adventure Network. It's rapidly being built out. Within a few years, we'll have 600 of these charging locations. And it'll be an open network. So it'll be Rivian vehicles as well as non-Rivian vehicles. And beyond that, we, of course, integrate across the other third-party platforms. And importantly, in fact, this month, our vehicles will be able to access the Tesla Supercharger network. I think we're going to see a big shift in the mosaic of charging solutions, and the technology and platform we develop with our Rivian Adventure Network is really key for that. Now, powering that network, empowering this transition to electrification, we can think about the end vehicle, the use of that vehicle as driving this change, driving the downstream demand shift from, of course, gasoline and diesel to electric, but we also need to create the upstream supply of renewable energy. And this is an area we're really focused on, and we're committed to building out over 7 billion miles of renewable energy by 2030. And so those projects are already underway, and the downstream demand that all of our customers, all of our owners collectively represent, enable us to create this new upstream supply of renewable energy. So, we're here to talk about what's next. We're here to talk about how all this brings us to our next set of products, and really how we get a lot more people into our products, into our brand. And how do we make Rivian more accessible to a lot more people? So with that, let me introduce you to R2.
You ready?
We've been working together since well before the R1, so it is so amazing just to see this and you and the team amazing work.
Start turning.
It is so awesome to show this.
There it is.
Wow. And there's a lot to talk about here. The vehicle combines capability, performance, utility, storage, functionality in a way that we think just really fits right into a huge customer need and a huge need within the market. The vehicle size, the vehicle capability really has been optimized around enabling, as I said, and inspiring all those adventures. And so we're going to walk through the vehicle, but just starting here at the front. In the front of the vehicle, we have a large front storage trunk. For those who are familiar with R1, of course, this should be very relatable. But this is great for putting luggage, backpacks, your gear. It's one of the most used storage areas for R1 vehicle. We can see the data on how all of our owners are using it. But it is just an awesome setup, and of course, this also serves to support a lot of the front safety in the vehicle in terms of the crash tests that you saw in those R1 videos. Now, if we go around the side of the vehicle, it's hard to see without sitting in it, but so much effort has gone into making sure the packaging, not just in the front row, but also in the second row, creates this really airy, really comfortable, really spacious experience. Something that really is world class. There's nothing quite like it in this size of vehicle, where you get in and you feel so comfortable and it feels so inviting. And we're going to take a look at the interior in a second. But first, just walk around the back. We did a lot of work to create something that builds a really open air experience. You just saw, or maybe you saw, these quarter windows pop out.
Ooh. Nice.
Remember, it's the negative pressure off the back of the vehicle to pull natural air through. It creates a beautiful open air feeling experience. And then the rear glass, which you just saw drop, also opens. And now the rear glass opening literally feels like an open air experience.
Look at that.
But this gives you the ability.
What?
Longer gear, and as you just saw, the second row seats fold flat, but also the first row seats fold flat. The first row seats that gives you, and when if you're driving the vehicle, you can put long things in very easily. But if you're not driving the vehicle, let's say you're camping or staying around the vehicle, it creates this awesome in-vehicle camping experience with an inflatable mattress. So walking around here to the side, you're thinking to yourself, well, how's the vehicle size? You're probably looking at me, I'm about 6'1", trying to figure out how does this compare to an R1. Well, we'll tell you, it's about 400 millimeters shorter than an R1S. And in addition to being shorter, it's quite a bit shorter wheelbase. It's also lower in height. And it makes it fits into any garage, it fits into tight spaces, really maneuverable. But to look at it in a driving environment is really helpful. So we'll show you it here next to an R1S. It looks awesome. Yeah, just two family members out for a stroll. I love that. So let's take a look at the inside. And there's, we think about the design and inside of the interior of the vehicle. A lot of that ties to just what's in the materials, what's in the packaging, what does it make you feel? What's that environment feel like? And so we spent a lot of time working through those materials and the overall packaging to create an experience that is as inviting as one could imagine. And we have a lot of feedback from R1. And one of the points of feedback was a desire for a glove box.
Yes. Yes, when you ask for one, you
The
get
other
two.
thing, I mean, there's lots to see here, but one of the things that's so exciting
nice.
is the way we've looked at the controls. We have these really nice, large wheels and scrolls in the steering wheel. There's dynamic haptic feedback, so it allows us to adjust what it's feeling like when we're scrolling, and it's magical. that takes our existing stroll wheel and really up levels it to a degree that's hard to fully appreciate unless you're sitting in the car. Now, jumping back out, a lot of work went into the doors. We moved the speaker out of the door, gives it space for a large water bottle here. Of course, it would be a Rivian. And a flashlight at the door.
Yeah.
Really love that. Super handy. So now, how does this set up in terms of how it functions? And we built an entirely new platform to underpin this vehicle. A lot of work went into driving manufacturing cost efficiency. And it's built around a 4695 cell. So it's a cylindrical cell, 46 millimeters in diameter, 95 millimeters tall. It's a much larger cell than the 21 millimeter diameter cell that we have in R1 today. And that cell's integrated into a highly structural battery pack. So the battery pack in the floor actually makes up a big part of the vehicle structure. The top of the battery pack is actually the floor of the vehicle. So a lot of these innovations that we're driving into how we build a vehicle are core to us making sure that the price point can be really affordable. We'll get to that later. But from a drivetrain point of view, we have a single motor, rear-wheel drive variant. We have a dual motor, one motor in the front, one motor in the back, all-wheel drive variant. And then we have a tri-motor, two motors in the back, one in the front. And the high performance variants of the vehicle, 0 to 60 in well under 3 seconds. Yeah, so it's very quick. And then all those motor combinations can achieve over 300 miles in range. Wow. So much of what a Rivian is passion and interest in the vehicle. And we needed to make sure that all the decisions we made in the aggregate, the suspension, the drivetrain, the battery positioning, the packaging of the vehicle, delivered something that drove like nothing else. Something that was exciting on-road, something that was incredibly capable off-road, but had the everyday refinement and usability to work if you're parking it in San Francisco or driving it in New York. And so that focus on dynamics is so embedded in our culture as an organization, and embedded, of course, into our products. Now, we talked about the vertically integrated electronics we built that enable this amazing software platform that we've seen in R1. We take that even further in R2. We talked about how the packaging and the design of the structure allows us to achieve really amazing manufacturability. We've also focused a lot on sensors and the compute in our vehicle. And this has 11 cameras, 5 radars, 4 radars to the corner, 1 long-range radar in the front, which we couple with our new, much higher compute platform, which will enable this to have a very high level of self-driving. And for us, that represents being able to get on the highway, take your hands off the wheel, eyes off the road, and truly operate where you get your time back. And that's, to our self-driving team, we're really excited about what this vehicle represents for us. Now, I do want to talk just a bit about how we laid out the manufacturing system here. And I talked before about battery pack, but every single decision in the vehicle, and I say this a lot, but you look at a vehicle in the aggregate like this, and it looks like maybe there's a few thousand decisions. There's millions of decisions that have to be made across thousands of engineers. And those thousands of engineers making those collectively millions of decisions, we're incredibly focused on ensuring every one of those, not only optimizing for what the ownership experience will be, but optimizing our ability to make this very affordable and very accessible. And so the R2 starting price will be $45,000. Being embodied into one vehicle as the follow product to what we did with our flagship product with R1. But it's important to note, R2 represents not just a vehicle, but it also represents a platform. And that platform, as I said, performance, the capabilities, but also the flexibility from a manufacturing point of view is really important for us. And I'm really, really excited to talk about R2's sibling. R3. We're so excited about what this sort of delivers beyond what we see in R2. It takes the package of R2 and the platform, it shrinks it, it puts it into our take on what is a crossover. And it's a vehicle that's almost hard to define what it is, but it so beautifully captures our brand, the shorter wheelbase, tighter dimensions, really enabled to be something that's maneuverable and drivable. But as tight as it is on dimensions on the outside, we put so much effort into making sure the inside looked big. And much like we saw on R2, there's a lot of work that went into everything you see in the rear of the vehicle, the occupant areas in the front of the vehicle. But this is all enabled by the platform, and it's about 5 inches shorter, 135 millimeters shorter than what you see in R2 in terms of wheelbase, but leveraging all that same content. So the single motor, the dual motor, and a tri-motor, a beautiful battery pack built around a larger format cell, our network architecture. Really excited about that. So up front, we have a front storage trunk, much like what we have in R2. And that storage area of the vehicle, you can use to throw your gear, your bags, and something like this. Wonderful for that everyday urban usability, residential usability. But I want to spend some time with the back. And we spent so much time as a team thinking about working on how do we create a unique closure experience in the back. What you just saw happen is the rear lift gate came up. Just like we saw in R2, the first and the second row seats fold flat. So it creates an opportunity for in-car camping, or it creates an opportunity to carry along gear. But when we close this, there's a second way to get to the back, which we call our flipper box. What I love about this is it makes it easy to get things in and out, but this actuation can actually go to multiple heights. So if you're carrying something that's longer, like a surfboard, it could be stuffed animal, it could be a trombone, you can adjust the height here, and it's a user setting to make it really easy to carry those bigger objects or bigger things around. And as I said, everything as we thought about this vehicle is around making a smaller car feel really big. Now, looking at the interior, a lot of what we saw on the R2 carries over here. So the use of materials, when we think about the sustainability of those materials, how durable they are, and really embodying that Rivian feel is driven into this. And we should also in the car right now. But same thing we had with our R2 with the control wheels and steering wheel. Lots of flexibility in terms of storage. 2 glove boxes. And of course, we still have a flashlight here.
Hey! Nice!
Now, we talked about platform flexibility. Hopefully you're seeing that here between R2 and R3. The ability for these 2 vehicles with really common family genes. You can feel their siblings. They look like the Rivians. They feel like the Rivians. unfortunately can't all drive them to say they drive like Rivians, but I can guarantee they do. But there's one more thing. And looking at R3, we want to take everything that's embodied and put it into an even higher performance package. And this is something we call R3X.
What? Oh my God.
When we walk around in the studio every single time, oh, I want that so bad. And that happens during the season. But this captures, as you can see, R3, but pulls a level of like deep performance capability into it. There's lots of subtle differences, wider wheel and tire, a little wider stance, more ground clearance, tri-motor setup, and to focus on really taking the capabilities of what Rivian represents and really flexing that. And really showing that in a small car, smaller crossover, delivering a level of on-off-road performance that will get us all very excited. And what you can't see, and I want to show, is the interior on the vehicle is just beautifully laid out. We had a chance to really stretch ourselves. This is an interior combination we internally call rugged playful, because it looks rugged and it's playful. But the use of materials and the use of how they're laid out with torque and with interesting weaves, interesting ways to anodize metal, it feels so unique to Rivian, but also so unique to this vehicle and to the performance variant. Now, as we think about this portfolio of vehicles, R2, R3, R3X, I can see from the room, everyone is excited. These represent our future. These represent what we've been building to, the brand that we established with the R1 products and positioning Rivian to take that further and make that more accessible to more people. And we've been working hard to find ways to pull the timing of these programs forward, to get them to as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. And with that, I'm excited to say that we're going to be pulling the timing in to allow R2 to start deliveries in the first half of 2026. That accelerated timeline by leveraging our production capabilities in home.
Yeah.
To launch R2 and get that in the market as quickly as we can. Now, our Georgia site remains really important to us. It's core to the scaling across all these vehicles between R2, R3, R3X, and we're so appreciative of all the partnership we've had there. But being able to leverage the team, the skill, the passion we have in our Illinois facility, to get that into the market, to get that to customers, some of the orders I heard over there, as quickly as possible, we're just ecstatic about it. Now, hopefully you see, when we look at our products, when we look at R2, we look at R3, we look at R3X, every decision, as I said, ties to making sure these vehicles enable and inspire the kinds of things we want to take photographs of, the kinds of things we want to remember 20 years from now, 30 years from now. And so we've also developed a set of accessories that sit on those products.
Yeah, here we go.
That link to making and building those memories. So we have a tent that's so beautifully integrated that goes onto the top of R2 or R3. We have bike racks that make the use of bikes really easy. We want all our vehicles to be the easiest vehicle to go biking with. And we have a really clever way to think about a kitchen and rear storage plugging into our storage ports in the back of the vehicle. But ultimately, we as a company, we as Rivian, we exist to not only help transition the world away from combustion fuels and into electrification, we exist to help generate amazing memories in the process of this. To hear about our future. We couldn't be more receptive.
Thank you for joining us today. Food and drinks are now being served outside in the courtyard. Please watch your step as you exit. We ask that you refrain from walking on the stage around the vehicles. Look for a Rivian team member in a light beige sweatshirt if you have questions.
Now that the live stream's off, what you're all wondering is, do we get to drive this? We can have fun. All the people that are just here get that real fun. No, we're not going to drive them today. But we are going to invite everybody to come up on stage and take a look at them. Before we all crowd the stage, just some ground rules, don't go too crazy. We're not going to be getting it out of vehicles, just a number of people. There's going to be Rivian folks in the R2 shirts that are here to answer questions. But I invite everybody to just have some fun looking at the vehicles, ask us about them, ask us what's going into them. We as a company, we're so excited. It's an understatement to say our team's been working around the clock to put these together. But the level of energy that hopefully you see in the vehicles is so deeply embodied in all of us as a company, and we're really excited to have all of you here and get a chance to talk to you more about what